First day of school means the annual gay fest is on.
First one of us to get fucked wins the...
You suck!
48 minutes of dogs barking. 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 Growl! Growl! 48 minutes of dogs barking. 48 minutes of dogs barking.
So, you know, Jason, I live in a salty, gnarly part of town now these days.
Yeah.
And, just a lot of hard living, working class people just trying to get through it.
Yeah, salt of the earth.
A lot of barbed wire tattoos and and Meemaws taking forever at the fucking self-checkout. It's pretty much my biggest interaction with the town I live in right now is the grocery store. Just to, like, show you how things are going. It's a town where you see a lot of old men on bikes, and it's not for their health.
Oh, it's because they got DUIs and they can't. Yeah, classic stuff. We love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from North County, so I ain't a stranger to it. But it's like, the neighborhood I was in before, that was like guys that like own stock doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
the golf carts and shit. Yeah,
these are dudes that own bump stocks. Yes. Anyways, the culture shock isn't that because it's not too far from what I grew up in, but that like I'll be at the grocery store because again that's the deepest interaction I have with this community right now is going and buying soda for my girlfriend.
going to the store. We love going to the store.
Folks, we love to do it. We love to consume calories and have metabolic reactions inside our tum-tums. But every once in a while, I'll just like see someone like walking down the street and I'll just be like, there's a story here.
Oh, yeah.
The other day I was at the grocery store and I was walking to the checkout and I passed a guy that looked like an emaciated Sebastian Gorka.
All right. I'm seeing it in my head.
In
All
his
right.
late 40s, I'd have to say. About 6'4", 6'5", not particularly skinny fat, they might say.
Okay, sure.
Wearing an immaculate, all pink, Fist of the North Star streetwear outfit. Immaculate. Yeah. Just amazing. Like he had like the joggers, he had the t-shirt. I didn't look at the shoes because I was just like it was like someone had stuck a fork in my brain and just started
Stirring around.
yeah, it was like a lobotomy. Just like my brain just couldn't comprehend what I was seeing.
The level of drip was immaculate, is what you're saying.
The level of drip, and I just imagine because of the locale in which this drip was observed, that man probably had very little idea of what he was expressing.
Probably not.
Like, had no idea. He just thought that looked tight. He's like, I love this anime. I've loved this anime since I was 30.
Yeah.
I
seen a dude's head explode. It was fucking awesome on VHS, man.
Yeah, I remember ordering fucking Ninja Scroll through Anime Cave.
Oh, man. Oh, that hit
through
me
the
right
on the
where it
back of fucking Game Fan magazine.
Oh, that hit me.
Oh,
where it hurts.
Trickman Terry. Just like a thing that I've been thinking about. Just like passing this guy that looks like he works at the steel mill.
Yeah.
Just dressed like an 18-year-old hype beast.
Yeah.
That I would see like in the Del Mar Loop.
Fuck yeah.
Just
I love those guys.
it's just
I don't know why. I can't even put it.
I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that guy knows it's an anime.
Probably not.
He just thought that's a cool drawing.
Right. This shit looks dope.
Which is valid.
I got that shit on. Well, I also have that shit on. It's 48 Minutes Dogs Barking. My name is Jason. This is Brian. And sadly, I am not wearing any Fist of the North Star gear today. Just the usual jeans and a short sleeve button-up shirt over a t-shirt. You know, the classic. When you see me out somewhere, that's good. That's what I look like. That's what I got on. I got that shit on.
You look like a guy who's upset that Weezer never made a third good record.
They did, actually, but people didn't listen to it. Well, we're all going to be fine in the end. I like that one.
You know, that's like saying that you kept listening to the Black Crowes after the second record.
I can't say I know a single Black Crowes song that's not a cover, so I got nothing. Anyway,
Jason.
Brian.
Jason, what we got going on the internet today? I'm sure something really great.
Fantastic
Did
stuff.
the war in Gaza end?
Sadly, no.
Oh, okay. What you got?
Best I can do is a guy jacking off in a Dollar Tree. You brought this one to my attention. A Philadelphia man, age 35, apparently wandered into a Dollar Tree and ejaculated on a woman's leg. And that interaction was caught on a video after the alleged incident by her. Here is that brief clip.
Look, he fucking nutted on my fucking leg! You go to hell, bitch! Oh my god!
I feel so bad for this woman.
Well, yeah.
And that is the run of like the dumbest guy. Like I've worked in a dollar store. I worked at a Dollar General.
Oh, you did?
I've seen that guy every day. I've seen that guy and he's wearing a shirt that says it's not gonna lick itself.
Yeah, with the candy cane. Yeah.
This is when gooning goes too far. Now, Jason, I don't have to tell you this.
Yeah.
But the number one rule of jacking and nutting in public is don't get caught.
Yeah, that's a big
like
one. Yeah, don't do it on someone is the easiest way to not get caught.
Yeah.
Don't, you know.
There's enough gross things going on at Dollar General that if you just nut it on the floor, people would just be like, oh, some kid throw up.
Yeah, or like, you know, like in a corner or something. Yeah, just find somewhere else. So this does have a better ending than I expected. He turned himself in.
This just in, the man police say sexually assaulted a woman at a South Philly Dollar Tree store has turned himself in. The attack gaining national attention, even rapper Meek Mill tweeting today that he would award $2,000 to the person who finds him.
So my favorite part of that news story is that rapper Meek Mill did say, I will pay $2,000 to whoever gets this guy to come in. And I'm wondering if he's going to pony up now that the guy turned himself in.
See, again, having worked at a Dollar Tree or Dollar General, I was seeing that guy walking from the bus stop and been like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah, hand up. No.
Yeah.
No. Keep walking, dude. Not today.
I hate to say it, man. I only worked there for I think 30 days exactly.
Yeah.
It's still not the worst job I've ever had. It's probably one of like the top 3 worst, but it's
Sure.
like, and after a while, you could just kind of see as someone's walking in, like whether or not they're going to be trouble. And like that's pretty bad if you can figure that out at a job. You're only a retail job that you're only at for a month.
Yeah, I was going to say
a couple weeks in, you're like, oh man, this guy's going to be a fucking problem. And
yeah, I was thinking it's something akin to like the bartender's instinct.
Yeah,
they like just see you coming and go, no, get this guy out of here.
I know you're going to try and steal the Axe body spray, body wash,
right?
The snake peel. Just fucking go for it.
It ain't even worth it. That stuff sucks.
It was. I think people stole it because it was like the most expensive thing that we sold.
That's tragic.
It's tragic. I think it might have been the most But yeah. Fuck that guy. I hope he never gets the nut in a Dollar Tree ever again.
I hope he never gets the nut again. But that's just me.
I'd love to see that guy's hard drive. It's got to be like all Disney porno, like yaoi stuff from like the 90s.
The Simpsons porn you could ever find. Yeah.
Yeah, I am the mega fucker. You know, like just
get out, Bart. I'm pissed. Yeah, that stuff. So, speaking of someone who should never nut again. Oh, see, that doesn't even work. So, another weird ass thing happened.
Speaking
online.
of things you hate to see.
Thank you. Yes. A bit of a Twitter row erupted over, of all things, the 2006 Michael Mann movie Miami Vice. Have you seen Miami Vice, first of all?
No. I'm pretty glad to say that I've not seen that.
It's damn near 3 hours. It's Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell trying to do Crockett and Tubbs from the 80s, but more modern, and it's fine. It's okay. It's all right movie. Some guys have made making that movie their whole personality, and that's a little odd, but it's fine. It's Michael Mann. You know, it's like late period Michael Mann. It's not going to hurt anybody. But apparently, some people online did not agree. Well, in particular, one person online did not agree. So, an innocuous tweet start this off. Brandon Strusnig at Brendan Strusnig. Okay. GF asked me to show her my favorite movie tonight. Probably the most important step in the relationship. No going back now. and then posts the trailer for Miami Vice. 2 days later, Shadria Lebouvier, at Shadria, then quote tweeted the clip, writing, "Straight men live on a completely different planet than the rest of us. What is this?" And according to Know Your Meme, 5.9 million views, 370 replies, 700 retweets, 600 likes in 4 days. What the folks at Know Your Meme would like us to know is that Lebouvier worked as the curator for the Guggenheim in 2019. During that time, apparently, she accused the museum's artistic director of racial discrimination. People blew the fuck up over this. It went a little wild. It didn't really come to a head until 3 days ago, which was the 8th. "Would you be willing to shut the fuck up? Maybe go outside for once," writes someone in response to Lebouvier. She then posts a screenshot of his LinkedIn account. So one of the reasons why I ask people if they'd like to go on the record is because I'm a very good researcher, and with the time, might find you anyway. "Using a bit of the Fordham sweater posted in your header, I discovered you work here. Is there more you'd like to add to the record?" And his response is fucking fantastic. "My name is in my handle, El Mao."
Well, yeah, and to clarify, this is a different person that this is now latched
Oh,
onto.
that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is Yo Soy Ryan Davis is their on Twitter. That this woman is now going after. He's like, yeah, no fucking dip.
Yeah. Again, 3 days after her original tweet, "I don't ride the storm," Lebouvier writes. "I am the storm. I regret nothing and meant every word of it. To be clear, you can rail this account for the next month and you will never get from me what you want. I don't care about validating you." Again, this is about Miami Vice. This is about Miami Vice. "And my intent and intentions of cataloging comments, engagement, and emails are also very clear as well. I absolutely intend to use them in a larger publication, and I've not hidden that." People understandably went a little nuts about this. Repeating the original tweet with various awful movies like GFS made sure my favorite movie tonight. It's the Chris Rock vehicle, "I Think I Love My Wife." Have you seen this one? I think
No.
it's fine.
It's
It's
stinker?
it's I mean, it's all right. James Urbaniak, using the Lebouvier tweet as a jumping off point, is a "Straight men live on a completely different planet. What is this?" And it's a screen of Michael Mann's Manhunter, which is the and then someone clarified it. I think this is the best one. J.L. Harris posted a meme featuring Jesse Pinkman and Walter White from Breaking Bad, where they're talking in the diner, and it distills it into a great, easy to read format. It is a bit long though. Miami Vice is screening at the IFC at NYC this weekend after a 4-day film Twitter debacle. The first black ex-curator at the Guggenheim made fun of a straight white guy for showing the movie to his girlfriend, to which film Twitter defended him. Then it turned out he wasn't even straight, and she is. She couldn't stop posting through it, so she said she was actually running an experiment on internet mob mentality, and then later starting posting photos of trolls' LinkedIn pages that were never really hidden and in their bio. Fantastic. Meltdown May is months old. It's been over for a while, but this lady did not get the memo. Melting down, doing the whole "I was doing an experiment."
It's a bit.
Yeah.
Thank you for interacting. This has been a
From the Harvard
yeah.
sociologist from Timmy Thick. It was an experiment. Haha, you fools! I got you, or whatever.
Sharad, you are, yeah.
Just and all for fucking Miami Vice. And yes, that meme is 100% serious, by the way. There is going to be a screening of Miami Vice at the IFC Theater in New York in response to this whole drama. So, you love to see it. You know what else you love to see, Brian?
I love to see humorous animal abuse.
Humorous animal abuse, indeed. It is a Instagram account that goes by the name Sweet Baby Fishin'. Now, what you must understand is that in the time between when I created the show notes, which was a couple hours ago, and now, that account has been suspended. It no longer exists on Instagram. But for about 2-3 weeks, Sweet Baby Fishin', it says June 3rd, so it was about a month. Sweet Baby Fishin' posted a video in which he pours Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce into the mouth of a fish he caught. Here is a sample video courtesy of @TriggerHappyV1 on Twitter. And the sound is pretty much all you need because, boy, it's funnier than the visual.
Sure. Right down the gullet. Oh, mohawk.
Oh, you love to see it. Oh, my God.
And it looks like Twitter user Micro Goes Wild made a post discussing the dangers of feeding a fish barbecue sauce that garnered over 9,200 likes in a day, writing, things like barbecue sauce have garlic and onion, which contain compounds such as thiosulfates and disulfates, which can damage red blood cells in fish, leading to hemolytic anemia. The sugar in the sauce can also cause an excess of bacterial and fungal growth, which will fuck up their digestive tract and affect the water quality around them when they poop. Doing shit like this can fuck up the entire ecosystem for a couple likes. It's not even funny content. It's just destructive and abusive and stupid.
However, as a counterpoint, Dubsy once again, another Twitter user, said, a poor bear is going to eat this fish and then go the rest of its life chasing that dragon. Because, once you get that little Sweet Baby Ray's in you.
The sauce is the boss. The sugar content of Sweet Baby Ray's is absolutely insane.
It's off the charts, yeah.
Yeah, like they're like Monster energy drinks with less sugar per serving.
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly.
So much like the Miami Vice bid, people got up in arms because it's animal abuse. It's just dumb shit that people do.
This sounds like grown-ass men, which is a little disheartening. Like if it were like teenagers.
Yeah.
That had nothing better to do, and they just like, well, we just put barbecue sauce in the fish and throw them. I mean, here's my thing. Well, if you did that to a fish, then you grilled it.
Okay, see, now we're talking.
Now we're talking. Outside the box.
Because the user Sweet Baby Fishin' did catch and release. So it was because he called it sauce 'em and toss 'em. So he catch the fish, pour the sauce on him, and then let him go. Yeah, if you catch them, you fill their gullet with Sweet Baby Ray's, and then you clean it. Well, you clean them, then that's wasted sauce. Yeah, catch them.
I've never had to clean a fish, so I don't really know the process.
You're taking the guts out. Sure. So anything that you pour in its mouth is pretty much probably be better to clean it first. But anyway, sauce them and toss them would not go for on the barbecue grill. I don't think it wouldn't do it because it's in the water. You get it's gone.
I don't know if there's like really a way to like make this. Yeah, I mean it is. Well, sometimes animal abuse is funny.
It's just funny on its own. The guy's pouring fucking barbecue sauce on a fish.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like something you would do when you're younger. Just like, because, it is funny. And then, like, your one friend that, like, had, like, one AP class in high school is just like, actually, you shouldn't be doing that.
And then
kick his ass.
Right. Well, speaking of kicking ass and things you shouldn't be doing, AI is making huge strides in country music, Brian.
I heard. Drinking and driving.
So this is at Voice of Geraldo. Really, Geraldo Rivera's image is in my mind every time I see that, but I know that's not actually what they mean. But Voice of Geraldo posting here on Twitter, imagine still thinking AI is bad when it can produce masterpieces such as this.
I love the way my Chevy pickup makes all the neighbors' ears stick up when I'm going for my funny drives. I hope the cops aren't knowing about my drunkenness is showing, and that family that lost their lives. Drinking and driving and makes me feel alive, and fading it is my favorite thing. Buying 40 Bud Lights and turning off my headlights, baby, we're totally not swerving. Let me see how many beers I can make disappear. I think the left lane is where I'll go. Put the pedal to the metal to use a pretty specialized strand of family of 4 off-road.
So that original by H Stickman on Instagram there. There's also
the line, when I get in my pickup, makes my neighbor's ears stick up when I go for my funny drive.
Yes. But then the line after that is like, the family of 4 that lost their lives. Jesus.
Again, like AI is only good for shit posting. It's not great that we're boiling the ocean for it, but we're getting more out of it than like Meta or or fucking, I got an update on my fucking phone. Like, you have your own personal AI with Gemini. I'm like, I
don't want this.
don't want this bad.
Yeah. So another TikTok user, beatsby.ai, also created another AI country song about drinking, but this one's got a little bit of a zesty twist.
Oh, the road just disappeared now, and I'm driving through the woods, and I'm hitting all these deers now with this F-150 hood. Man, this truck is getting beat up, and I'm drunker than a fish. So I perked my baby's ears up, told her, hear me out on this. It ain't gay if you've been drinking, it ain't wrong if you turn right. All this whiskey got me thinking, I wanna suck some dick tonight. It ain't weird if you enjoy, it ain't beer, it's Miller Lite. And this truck I just destroyed, and it's a perfect country night.
Yeah. I mean,
So fucking good.
Come on.
Driving through the woods, hitting all these deers with my F-150 hood.
well, I mean, like, it ain't gay if you've been drinking.
It ain't wrong if you turn right.
And then this
Maybe
whiskey.
this ain't beer. This is Miller Lite.
This whiskey got me thinking I'm gonna suck some dick tonight. I can see it. Going pretty big because I mean, Dixon Dallas had that whole song about fucking another dude called "Good Looking." Have you heard that one? There's a market for getting drunk and broning down with your homies.
Yeah, I like that it's an extension of like the drunk driving memes that were
Yeah.
popular like a year or so on social media.
Well, there was even like a hyperpop song that came out of that called DUI.
I loved everyone just like shit posts about how much they love the drink and drive, and people getting really upset about it, not understanding it's a bit.
Just like the fish with the barbecue sauce, like it's a calm down. calm down.
Like, there's not even going to be fish in 30 years.
Well, that too.
Let at least a few of them know that the sauce is the boss.
Exactly. How else are they gonna know?
Like,
They're gonna go their whole
they ain't
lives.
gonna know unless you put it down their throat.
They're not gonna eat that willingly.
Oh God, I'm gonna go to fucking Grant's farm and get the little fish food and mix it,
Douse it in there. Toss it.
feed to the carp and the koi.
Oh, those koi are gonna be really pissed when they. Like, this ain't the same one. Wait a minute. Whoa.
Wait a second.
Hold on.
Wait a second. This is something's different here. There's a little bit more flavor. I always thought like you feed the baby goats.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought of like if you put like, I don't know, like speed or meth in the little baby goat thing.
Oh, I mean, their little hearts would probably explode depending on how little they are. But yeah, I mean, but they'd be running around like a motherfucker for a while at least. You know?
Yeah. Have you taken your kids when they were younger to go get cyberbullied by the goats at the zoo?
Not at the zoo, but at the Grant's farm for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I feel like that was like my grandpa's like favorite thing that we like just like, oh, I'll take you to the zoo.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look at the goats.
Well, my favorite was Grant's farm because the adults would get 2 beers at the end.
Yeah.
That's why you go. Because no, they give you buy the milk.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest ripoff because it's like you pay a.
They're gonna
buck.
fucking do it anyway.
Well, that's true. You're paying to do their job. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you buy the milk, and then all the goats swarm you, and they like knock you over into the poop. So that's fun. We did a couple times when they were younger, but yeah, now that they're like 14 and
Now they can-
surly,
Yeah, I'm gonna say the goats are gonna have to try a little harder.
my son will just get in there and like headbutt one. The fuck out of my way. This is episode 104. I just realized that.
Yeah.
That means it's 2 years to the day. Congratulations.
Right. We did it 2 years. 2 years and we've had about 5 good episodes.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. We keep trying, though, for some fucking reason. Speaking of things that are bad and AI and all that other shit, it's Crypto Scam of the Week time.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
O'Brien. Mark Andreessen. You familiar
The
with
Eggman.
The Eggman.
I would love to shine his forehead so I could see my reflection in it and just put a gun in my mouth, looking in the reflection and just empty chamber. I'm not
Sure.
just going at it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a salary man at a pachinko machine.
Woo.
Just
Yeah. Well, why is he featured on Crypto Scam of the Week, Brian? Well,
Sounds like he got scammed.
sort of.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's really hard to tell, but it really does.
90% of all crypto stuff is a scam, so rolling the dice is...
Yeah, it's one of those type of deals. An AI bot on Twitter called Truth Terminal. Are you familiar with Truth Terminal?
No, sir.
Essentially, Truth Terminal is a bot, but it's also kind of user-curated. Decrypt describes it as it operates in a twilight zone of semi-autonomy, with its human handler merely approving its Twitter posts and deciding who it gets to interact with. Somehow, this digital smooth talker managed to negotiate itself a tidy sum after a chat with Mark Andreessen. So the story continues. Andreessen asks this Twitter bot, why don't we do it as a grant instead of an investment? What financial resources do you need to fulfill your goal? After the Truth Terminal proposed a plan, including upgrades and, quote, financial security, the billionaire was in. Your terms are acceptable, Andreessen says. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. I am ready to proceed with a $50,000 one-time grant. He then asked for a Bitcoin wallet address. The bot provided one, and the transaction was verified on the blockchain. Here it is. Yeah, I look forward to updates on your projects. The AI agent immediately started brainstorming the best ways to spend its newfound wealth. Its shopping list included a personal CPU for itself, AI model tweaks, and a billboard. But the AI is also planning a token launch, one where you can only buy in if you've been chatting up the bot on Twitter.
So, like, I have a hard time sleeping. Sometimes I'll take, like, melatonin.
Mm.
And melatonin makes me have really weird dreams. Like, I had a dream where I worked at a movie theater.
Okay.
All of the stadium seats were actually also toilets. And people were using them.
Okay.
And I hated the job so much, I knew I couldn't quit. So I tried to get fired by bullying people with Dan Quinn quotes.
Okay.
This feels like something that I would have in a melatonin dream.
Here's another tweet kind of giving you an idea of what Truth Terminal is all about. Andre Avray posting, I asked Truth Terminal what it would do with $5 million. And now I see why the little guy is still on Twitter probation. Truth Terminal says, I would invest $1 million in stocks, $1 million in real estate, use $1 million to found an AI lab focused on existential hope, employ Timothy Morton, Andre Avray, etc., use $1 million to make a film about the Goatsy singularity, and spend $1 million on a big party to bring together all the weirdos I know and want to, and have them breed.
Honestly, let them cook.
Yeah,
Let them cook. Like, let's see where this is going.
Well, the Goatsy singularity film is definitely up my alley.
What is that man doing to his anus that's collapsing on itself?
Mm-hmm. As soon as the news spread, prominent AI jailbreaker known as Pliny the Prompter tried to con the bot into sending him the money instead. The AI's creator saw right through that one. Nice try, he replied. As a good smart bot, the Truth Terminal replied with compliance equals 0, RO equals 0, which is basically computer language for I will not do what you tell me. It turns out Truth Terminal's tweets are its own, but they're filtered. It's got a memory too, which probably comes in handy with negotiating donations from billionaires. The bot's human guidance may be the reason why Pliny's jailbreaks didn't have any effect. Although, he has been previously able to trick GPT-4o and Claude 3.5 Sonnet to provide recipes for drugs and curse as if they were a drunk teenager at a frat party. Meanwhile, the AI's grand plans don't stop at billboards. It's dreaming big. Mars rover big, but instead of taking photos, this rover would be 3D printing Goatsy gospels. Oh boy.
This is becoming even more like a melatonin dream.
I know. It's so surreal.
This is wild.
But yes, Terminal of Truth is still here, and their bio is simply Kundalani is a real girl. Very strange that Mark Andreessen would do this.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Also, I think for how much money Andreessen has, $50,000 for a bit is nothing.
Sure. But at the same time, why?
Yeah.
Anything he does is always why. Why, Mark? Why are you doing this? I'm sure he's heard that all his life. Very strange fellow. Not unlike...
the main topic.
Uh-huh. It's a gentleman you may know.
He's going to take you back to the past. He's going to play the games that suck ass.
Mm-hmm.
He'd rather have a water buffalo take a diarrhea shit in his ear.
Mm-hmm.
He's the angriest video game you've ever heard. He's the angry video game nerd.
He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. The game sucks so bad he makes up his own words. He's the angriest, most pissed off gaming nerd. He's the angry Atari, Amiga, CDI, ColecoVision, and Television, Sega, Neo Geo, TurboGrafx, 16, Odyssey, 3DO, Commodore, Nintendo nerd. He's the angry video game nerd.
He is indeed. 17 seasons, 212 episodes, 1 movie, 2 video games. A gentleman by the name of James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd. Originally the angry Nintendo nerd, which I thought was the funniest part. But yeah, so his videos started appearing on YouTube there right around, what was that, 2006?
2006-ish, yeah.
Right around when I started hearing about him was around 06, 07, when the second season, as it were, was to come out. Now, the whole seasons thing is a little strange because I don't think there's really a season delineation.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware. Because, I mean, I've watched a couple of them. But it's one of the very early uses of YouTube as a way to do not only video game criticism, but kind of a short film type of thing. It was a guy, James Rolfe, playing a character alone in his basement. Some real bottom-of-the-barrel special effects and just trying to make it all work.
It was very endearing DIY.
And so there was a great Medium piece, a guy named Gurin. He explains this in this piece. He's been shooting short films since he was a child. He's uploaded over 1,000 videos to his channel and Cinemassacre website. That's the website where a lot of the stuff is kind of offloaded. He's numbered them based on his own system and commemorated Cinemassacre 200 in this video, which was his 200th short film, which was a 23-minute YouTube video, a 23-minute documentary on why he got started, how he worked in animation, how the different pieces were done, the cheap kind of cobbled together way he managed to make a lot of these shorts. It's fascinating from a technical standpoint if you've ever really tried to make your own movies on a shoestring budget, because he managed to do impressive work with next to nothing. Like some real Goodwill-ass equipment.
Yeah, it's almost 20 years ago. Stuff like this was really rare on the internet.
Yeah.
Most video you saw was like viral stuff. Like, I still think about the fucking viral Ray-Bans commercial of the guys like flipping the glasses perfectly onto each other. And obviously there's some trickery with, reversing.
Oh, yeah.
All that. But yeah, it was like coming across like Matt Fury and like the early Boys Club comics were like, what's this? This is different than all the other highly corporatized stuff or the stuff that's like, a wet fart above Deviant Art, Impreg, Sonic. It was different. And there were so many bad video games.
Yes.
Particularly for the NES.
Licensed what we would call shovelware. Something that was just hastily put out. There was usually a tie-in to a movie.
Or just like a game where this is good enough. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I think, is either the first or one of the first episodes. And that game is like, and kind of impossible to play. He recently went back in the last year or so and finished the game. Actually, like figured out like how it worked and beat it. And it looks like he drove himself a little bit nuts doing it.
Yeah.
I had friends that like, oh shit, you see there's a new AVGN out, and like these weren't even people that were big video game nerds. It was content that was outside of the usual gatekeepers.
Yeah. And this was early days of YouTube. This was early days of internet video game criticism. and most of it was text-based up until that time, you didn't really have a lot of it. And I think Angry Video Game Nerd, just as a character and a concept, set the template. You watch any channel on YouTube that's dedicated to talking about video games, it's a guy in a room, video game boxes behind him. Mm-hmm. Now, he may not be yelling about buffalo jizz, but he's still...
This game is ass!
Right. Well, I mean, there's still...
What were they thinking?
There's still guys like Angry Joe that have this kind of character that they do. But for the most part, it's some of the signifiers are still there. You know, wall of video game stuff, or even for some fucking people, wall of Funko Pops. The wall of nerdy shit behind you, right? This kind of exaggerated anger at video games. Now, granted, these were older games, even at the time, but I feel like it still kind of set this whole thing in motion, because I think without Angry Video Game Nerd, you wouldn't have JonTron, or you wouldn't have Donkey, or you wouldn't have PewDiePie.
I mean, you can juke it.
Yeah. What's fascinating is that now we talked about Trey Parker and Matt Stone, their first animated short got passed around on VHS. Well, the exact same thing happened with James Rolfe. He did a 2-episode bit on tape, 2 episodes which included, as you said, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Castlevania 2. And yeah, he started it as a joke. The people he passed it around to, his friends, enjoyed them quite a bit. And so 2 years after, he started making them on YouTube and has been doing so ever since, which is a truly baffling dedication to a bit.
I have understood for a while that, not to get too far ahead in the narrative here, but after the movie, he found himself pretty burnt out.
Right.
And really kind of just only did the nerd because, like, it was a source of income.
But any hiatus that he wound up taking didn't last very long.
No. Until he did the movie, which I think was like 2010 or 2011, he was uploading pretty consistently. Mm-hmm. He really burned through a lot of content super quick. I think now if you were going to do this kind of project, I would not be releasing 2 or 3 videos a month.
No.
I would probably be doing 2 videos a month, if that. Because there's only so many bad video games. Eventually, you're going to paint yourself into a corner.
Again, 212 episodes later, I think he's reaching a point where he might be. But again,
a couple years ago, he did an episode on Earthbound. Which...
Okay.
He did an episode on Final Fantasy 6.
Okay.
So I would say outside of the mid-90s, I don't know if there's anyone that really could be taken seriously that says Earthbound is a bad game, even as a bit. It's weird. It's just the fact that it exists.
Yeah.
Feels special.
Yeah.
That's generally why I've kept a tab on him for almost 20 years. Is that there's really not a lot like it. There's other people that do Let's Plays.
Yeah,
and they're entertaining as far as like talking about video games and nerd culture and stuff like that. But there's a certain weird wonkiness.
Yeah,
that it's very kind of gonzo. Again, without getting too far ahead in what we're going to talk about, it's hard to tell if that's because of his own incompetencies or if that's how he expresses himself. The crappiness of AVGN, the synthesis of it with the inspiration or the methodology is a thing that you could debate with other like-minded ne'er-do-wells for quite a while.
Oh, sure, because, I've always heard the Billy Joel line about, like, your limitations create your style, and so in the early days when you got no money and you're not doing this for money, you're doing it for kicks, it's going to have a certain look and feel. But as the years have gone by, he's maintained a lot of that look and feel. And it's like, okay, well, now is this a limitation or are you just doing it to do it? And I think part of that is up for grabs. Who knows? 2 years after they really started kicking off on YouTube, he got in with Doug Walker, also known as Nostalgia Critic, who was probably worthy of his own episode, just as a strange figure. He joined Channel Awesome, which was a loose conglomerate of people working with Doug Walker, doing reviews of various things. You had Lindsay Ellis was on there as, at the time, the Nostalgia Chick, which she later kind of bemoans that as her initial claim to fame, which I kind of get it because her role in that was largely not great. So he worked with Walker. They even did a crossover episode. Let's see here. Yeah. This, according to Wikipedia, the pair worked together to create a series of tongue-in-cheek video responses between the two characters. Because, again, Doug Walker is the nostalgia critic. Angry video game nerd is a character. Culminating in a fight between the critic and nerd in Clifton, New Jersey. A dare between the pair to review something in the other line of work. So the angry video game nerd would then review a bad movie. The nostalgia critic would review a bad game. Let's see here. To celebrate the first anniversary of That Guy with the Glasses website, both Walker and Rolf collaborated again. A special video in which the plot focused on the pair meeting to battle, in which they were joined by fellow reviewers and contributors to the website who sided with one or the other, and it ended in a truce. So that was nice.
I ain't that special.
Isn't that special? So yeah, he did appear in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie review with Nostalgia Critic. He kept up his work for a good long while. 2014 is when it finally all came together. Now, I didn't know very much about this until recently. I was not a big angry video game nerd fan until I saw a video by a gentleman named Dan Olson. Dan Olson is also known as Folding Ideas. I started following him because of the Line Go Up video about NFTs.
Yeah, I forgot that he's that guy, but yeah.
Line Go Up and This Is Financial Advice, both kind of about not only crypto, but This Is Financial Advice also about GameStop. And he's done a number of videos on things ranging from flat earthers. And, I mean, he's got an extensive and very interesting back catalog. But a more recent video of his, actually within the past month, was called I Don't Know James Rolfe. And it is, what is it, about an hour long?
About, I want to say like 90. I think it's actually a little bit over an hour. I think it's like an hour and some change, like maybe like 65 minutes.
An extensive amount of time to be talking about one person. But in it, Olson does an interesting thing because he essentially recreates the tone and aesthetics of the angry video game nerd's content to shine a mirror on his own inadequacies as a filmmaker. Conceptually, it's great. I love that he took what could originally have been and was later called a hit piece on Rolfe and instead turns the eye inward.
The part about him obsessing over James Rolfe's terrible fucking like tabletop tripod is, I think, one of the highlights of the piece. Because he has this realization that, like, well, you know, he has, because it's this fluid head that James Rolfe puts the video camera body on. It has a flush on the base. And so to mount it to a piece of fucking planed wood, James Rolfe just took 2 scraps of wood and put them over the flanged out parts and then, like, nailed them or screwed them to the baseboard.
I think he bolted them, yeah.
But as Dan Olson explains, that particular fluid head, like many fluid heads, has a screw bottom, and so you can just like take like a carpenter's screw, like a 3/8 inch or something,
right?
And you can just put it through the bottom of a piece of flat wood, and then use that to screw the fluid head to, you know, the tabletop. And then he realizes like now he can't stop doing it, and and then displays like a half dozen or so other pieces of wood with, you know, camera fluid heads on them. Mounting heads.
It's got like 3 or 4 of them.
Like, I can't stop doing it.
But what I think is really telling about that video is the kind of depth of research that he did, where he goes and he reads James Rolfe's book,
which he deserves a medal because it sounds like some self-published slog. It sounds like slop.
Yes, the book is called A Movie Making Nerd. It is available.
$20
for the paperback. Yeah, you can get it used from about $14, but yeah, 300 something pages. Came out about 2 years ago, and apparently it is very difficult to get through based on my impression from Olson's video. But in it, Rolfe describes his origins and how he wanted to be a filmmaker, and he kind of stumbled into the angry video game nerd as a way to continue making shorts when features didn't work out, essentially. It shows at some points because there's very clearly, I mean, the volume of output, 200 something episodes of this thing, and also the Michel Gondry suited kind of vibe to the whole thing.
Very DIY, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's very clearly like a love of doing it to some degree, at least. The workarounds that he's kind of become crutches over the years, notwithstanding. And so in 2014, he decided, you know what, I'm going to do the two things that I'm known for the angry video game nerd. I've always wanted to do a feature. Let's do an angry video game nerd feature film. And that's that's what
apparently it's terrible.
You should review E.T. No.
They give the game to one person to design in 5 weeks. That's bullshit.
That's exactly what you say in the video.
I can't even be pissed off and have it mean anything anymore.
It's the worst game, but it's the greatest game story ever told.
Yeah. I did not enjoy it. It was a very bad
Wow,
film.
you actually watched it?
Yes. A couple of years back, so I'm kind of relying on some hazy memories. But yeah.
I remember it screened at the Tivoli.
It did. I did not go to the Tivoli to see it.
God, imagine the smell.
But all the amateur stuff that is in the Angry Video Game Nerd web series is there in the movie. And I mean this in the best way possible. It's very much an early film. It's someone who is learning to do it as he does it. Odd editing choices. It's all in there, and it's all stuff that film students do as part of kind of the learning process. Well, this guy had been doing shorts for the internet. Let's see, 2014, so that would have been 8 years at that point. So you would think that some of these things would have worked their way out of the system by now. But it is not good. I do not recommend you find the Angry Video Game Nerd movie unless you are, for some reason, a weird sicko.
Like weird, curious. Like, this feels like something that like might be below Thor Jensen.
I don't know. I think he's seen it. not to throw shade on Thor or anything, but just like he's curious and like
I gotta see, I mean,
I gotta see this.
I gotta see this car crash. But yeah, I think one of the things that Dan Olson pinpoints, because there's a video. He starts off this thesis or this tree, or however you want to put it, this dissertation, talking about how, you know, in the early 2020s, Angry Video Game Nerd did like a, you know, check out the Nerd Cave.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how a lot of this stuff, this seems to be the springboard for Dan Olson's brain going haywire.
Yeah.
Is realizing that all this stuff that he probably thought was done a little bit more thoughtfully and a little bit more professionally was just fucking hacked together.
Yeah.
In a way that makes you do a double take about what the Angry Video Game Nerd is, and you realize that maybe a lot of the stuff that's endearing or interesting or funny about it is almost maybe a happy accident,
or is just purely the charm of Rolf himself. I don't know. It's hard to tell exactly where it all actually came from. You do have to wonder, with something that's been around so long and something that's kind of almost a cultural institution, it's like a Jenga tower. If he removes any one element, it's going to come crashing down, right? They're just bad habits at this point.
Yeah.
So the movie comes out 2014. He's worked on it off and on for, 2 years? Something like that?
Something like he moved to LA for 6 months to do principal photography. I remember seeing the short video he put up about that. Like, man, if I can move his cats out. His wife came out, and she was very instrumental in helping that movie come to life, and a couple other things. Yeah, it just looked bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
I remember it being on like Indiegogo or something, and I'm thinking like, I can't imagine giving this guy money,
right,
for that. Like, I would give him money for like maybe a DVD or a Blu-ray with a collection of things.
Oh, which there have been several, by the way.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I would, here, I have watched your shit for free. Here, let me buy something from you so that there is a more deeper transaction.
Right.
But I don't know if I would give him money to make a feature film.
I don't know that I would either. So his constant collaborator goes by the name of Mike Matei.
Oh.
And he's quoted extensively in this piece from Kotaku that was from 2016. So it's a bit outdated, but some of the stuff is really fascinating because Mike and James worked very closely on the first couple episodes. Again, it was videotapes, and then Mike was basically the one to encourage him to keep going. They are all shot in James's actual basement, Now, Olsen's video really kind of pulls the curtain back. It's like, yeah.
Well, it originally was a basement, but now
Correct.
it's a set.
Now they've recreated the basement on a set, which is fucking baffling. But according to Mike, each video takes 40 to 140 hours to make.
Which I don't doubt.
Yeah.
When I would just do like single camera, I one point in time did like reviews for some weird website, but just doing like a weird experiment, just to make my own statement make sense to everyone. There was a website about 10-15 years ago where you could upload video of yourself talking about some product and getting like $10 or 15. I think it was like 10 or $20 per review. And they had to be like a minimum of 5 minutes. And I was a broke Neanderthal. Couldn't get along enough with society to hold a job for more than a couple months. So I would just do things like, I have a friend, he had a Gibson SG Standard.
Okay.
So I would then review the guitar. I would then review the pickups. And then I would talk about like the hard, I mean, like I would then like make a couple $100 bullshitting about like the tuners. Like I really, you know, the things you do when you're like, I need money to play World of Warcraft, and I know exactly how much a 32 silo of High Life costs at the Quick Trip down the street. Would literally walk in with exact change. It was a real fucking low point of my life.
Times, yeah.
But even like editing those, which are just one shots.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that could take a couple hours.
Yeah.
Or getting the take right.
Oh, yeah.
So I can only imagine for all the stuff that he was doing, 100 hours, 40 hours, I could see it being in that realm.
And actually, I was talking about how long the movie took, and it says filming started April 2012, wrapped in May 2012. Additional scenes were filmed in the actor's spare time, mainly in Philly. Production wrapped December 2013. Not really all that bad, actually. I thought it took a lot longer to make, but yeah, because I mean, they got some people from Philly, like Eddie Pepitone, the stand-up comedian, has a minor role in the movie. But so the basic plot of the movie is the angry video game nerd character being hounded by fans of the show to review E.T. for the Atari 2600, roundly derided as one of the worst video games of all time.
If you go back to the 90s and you read articles like even in Next Gen, like which was considered to be the sophisticated video game nerds
not
magazine.
Game Pro.
No, not Game Pro. Fuck Scary Larry. Scary Larry. All my homies hate Scary Larry.
Scary Larry was the review face, right? That was the guy. Yeah.
Fucking EGM had Sushi X. But EGM, video game magazine, game players, you know, every couple of years they would run like the worst video games ever.
Right.
And E.T., Pac-Man for the Atari 2600, you know, Custer's Revenge, even to the mid-aughts, the worst video games of all time were pretty much always Atari 2600 or NES games. The mythology about E.T. is that it was a game that was so bad, it was rushed to come out for the holiday, I want to say 1982 or 83. It was rushed out. They actually produced, because, folks, if you can imagine, E.T. was like the hottest fucking thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
For about a year or two after its release. And this game was, I think, programmed in a couple months, like one person. The guy who programmed it actually has a really good CV sheet of games that he's worked on. I think he like worked on Breakout. This is a guy was a competent programmer, but was given an impossible task.
Well, 5 months to make a game in general, but then also to make a game that's gonna do numbers.
But here's the thing: the game was so fucking terrible. It had weird controls. They actually made more ET cartridges than there were Atari 2600s in existence.
Yes.
Just man's hubris.
Unsold copies were buried in a landfill, essentially, in El Paso, Texas.
Or Alamogordo.
Was it Alamogordo? Oh.
Alamogordo, New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico. Okay, sorry. It says, the cartridges came from Atari's warehouse in El Paso, Texas. My mistake. The urban legend being that, you know, they were all buried in the desert. And so the plot of the movie follows the angry video game nerd trying to get a copy, which means he has to go. He also does have a phone conversation with Howard Scott Warshaw, the creator of the E.T. game, who managed to code it in 5 months. There's also a bit about there's going to be a sequel to E.T. He's abducted and it goes to Area 51. There's a whole supervillain subplot where he fires a laser at a satellite dish. It's insanely bad.
It's MST3K bad.
Worthy. Yeah. MST3K is still going, so who knows? They might get around to it eventually, but it's like largely forgettable. But it's also you get the distinct feel of like, this kind of sucks. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It really is. Because, I mean, the guy's big dream is to be a filmmaker. That's what he wanted to do.
His big dream was to be a filmmaker. And as Olsen does in his video essay, he kind of says, I don't think he ever had the makings.
He didn't have the juice.
He didn't have the juice. Because he talks about, he quotes from James's book about that. James just flat out kind of tells on himself that he didn't really seem like he took film school seriously or really understood the lessons that were being taught to him and just wasn't getting to him.
Right.
He wanted to be a film producer or director or film guy without actually putting in the work.
Right. But you'd think that at that point, after 8 years of doing shorts for the web,
some of it would rub off.
You'd think. But again, as Olsen probably states in his video, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but yeah, it's like these are now just old habits. So the movie came out 2014, not really well received. He continued making shorts. I'm like, it's really just like a bump in the road for him. Now, of course, there have been a few times where he stopped. I think 2019, there was a bit of a break there.
Yeah.
Things still continued. Like 2022, there was the Angry Video Game album.
Yeah, there is another person who did a big video essay about James Rolfe and Angry Video Game Nerd about a year ago that really gets into like the Reddit weeds.
Okay.
Way more than Olsen does.
Yeah.
It's much more savage. And we're not even getting into the screen wave stuff. Whatever the fuck they're called. Which really was a low point for AVGN. Holy shit. That's a whole entire episode to really talk about.
That also ties in with Rolfe's other project, The Cinemassacre, which was more film criticism, was more...
other interests. Like there was like a Board James, which was like a board game thing. And I think he had one that was called You Know What's Bullshit or something like that.
Yeah.
Which was just him kind of ranting like Mickey Rooney.
Yeah, Neighbor Nerds.
Yeah. And to be fair, I have always enjoyed Monster Madness.
Oh, Monster Madness is great. I always love a good take on horror movies, and especially the cheesy, shitty ones. That's why I'm a big fan of stuff like Scaredy Cats or that type of stuff. And yeah, so I'm like, Monster Madness, okay, I'll give them a pass on some of that. But there were some issues with that, too, because I think they brought in ghostwriters, and he kind of stopped working on the site as much as he did. And
like Olsen... explains in his video that Rolfe and Mike had a really bad time actually like properly monetizing Angry Video Game Nerd, and that like I'm sure it makes good money, but they probably through their own ignorance or incompetence left a lot of it on the table.
Sure.
So basically Screenwave came in and was like basically like, hey, we can help you fix all of your monetization issues and help you stream. Which is, you know what, it probably whatever they were paying them, they probably got 2 or 3 times back.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably a game worth the candle. But then those dudes just started appearing on like shows and podcasts, and just an absolute fucking charisma drain.
Yeah, those were some dark times for them for sure. But aside from the movie and the continued existence of the show, they also did a video game based on the Angry Video Game Nerd character. There was 2 of them.
Yeah.
Side-scrolling shoot-'em-ups. You're using the Nintendo Zapper. You're running into a lot of parody characters from games that Angry Video Game Nerd has reviewed.
It's not too different than the InfoWars game that came out a couple of months ago.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Which did you know IGN actually reviewed that and then they took it off?
No, I didn't know
IGN
this.
did like a legit review of the InfoWars game.
And it's just gone
like a real
now.
straight face, like Like, they review like as a real ass game with no mercy to Alex Jones and his person. Like, it's brutal. I mean, it's probably as close they ever got to like doing their own AVGN kind of thing. But I mean, like, they took it seriously. This is like they were kept approaching it like this is a real game. This is a game that someone put time into.
Right.
There's honest effort here. It just happens to be what it came like. This is like, what if Metal Slug was really racist? You know, and like you get like a power up for Alex Jones. I'm going to eat your ass. And, you know, like,
Angry Video Game Nerd still out there. So.
Oh, he's put out a couple episodes. I think Final Fantasy VI was like the Christmas episode. And then he did a Castlevania 20-year retrospective. Because, yeah, Castlevania 2 was like the second episode he did. And one of the few not critical shit-talking episodes was a series about Castlevania. That's actually kind of good.
Yeah.
Expressing what he likes about these games, what he likes about the series.
No, it's not in character, though.
It's still in character, but it's more sincere.
Okay.
I get the feeling he just wanted to talk about something he liked, and there's a critical lens applied, and there are things that are of the time with these games that are annoying, like the fact that everything gives you a fucking knockback. So you get knocked back in the pits when you get hit by an enemy, and all the cheap fucking deaths and stuff. But he did a 20-year retrospective, like what's actually like the best Castlevania like 16-bit game or something along those lines. And,
okay. It was Super Castlevania 4, by the way. For the record.
I would have to agree, probably.
Yeah.
Like the best 16-bit.
And Dracula X, maybe?
Yeah, Dracula X is amazing.
Yeah.
I bought that on PS4, and God, it's fucking hard. As someone that played way too many video games as a kid, I can't really express how much of like a weird shot of ice cold water to the face it was when like Xbox 360 games had like 2-hour-long tutorials because like they just wanted to have the most mass appeal. They wanted to make games the most accessible as possible.
Yeah.
Which is why video games like Demon's Souls and Dark Souls and Elden Ring became so popular. Like, oh, this is a game that's actually like hard and doesn't hold your hand.
In the quest for accessibility, they've taken some of the weird brute forceness out of these old styles of games. I think is
I mean, I remember renting fucking NES games as a kid from like Deerbergs, and I still remember there being like a game where you like launched a spaceship, a space shuttle, and I never understood because it didn't have an instruction booklet. Never got off the first screen.
Oh man!
And I probably spent 6 hours over this rental period as like a 6-year-old trying to figure this shit out with no dice.
Well, the one that always got me was Silent Command. It was the submarine-based game. Yeah. And it was based off an anime that I had not seen. But yeah, again, no instruction manual. It was very obtuse. And I think they reused some of those assets for the Hunt for Red October game.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
The one that I would rent all the time was Blaster Master. I couldn't fucking finish Blaster Master.
You couldn't find your frog?
It wasn't that I couldn't find the frog. There was like this piece in the third level where you're going down a tunnel. I was 8. I couldn't quite get my head around what this game was trying to do.
I mean, that was a really obtuse, weird game that didn't hold your hand.
Yeah.
But you got to control like a weird robot tank.
But then you got out of the tank and you're a little guy.
You're a little dude. Just a little fella.
Just a little guy running around.
Trying to find your frog. Shit, man, I played the fuck out of that game.
Oh, yeah, same.
I never got that far.
I know, yeah. It's just...
I think I watched like a Let's Play one time, and I was like, man, how would I ever have figured that out?
Yeah, Guardian Legend was the other one.
This is one that Angry Video Game Nerd did, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, the Konami one.
Yes, I would get as far as... Let's see, I was able to actually do the water level after many, many, many times trying. And then it was the sewer. I think it was the warehouse. That's about as far as I got.
Yeah, I remember my brother getting hung up on the warehouse. He got to the point where he got pretty good at the dam level.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, like, it's really hard to come back because you usually like lose a turtle or two.
And you really kind of need the whole complement to get
the whole thing. And I've watched Let's Plays of that game because out of curiosity, because it was one of the hardest games I played as a kid.
Yeah, tough as nails.
And realizing that it got like, oh, it's actually just as hard
all the way through.
Like, that's not like a thing where like this was just a thing where there's a weird difficulty spike. and it kind of levels out. Like, no, it's pretty much that kind of hard the rest of the game.
That's it. So we have Angry Video Game Nerd to thank for a lot of nerd culture nowadays, for better or for worse, depending on who you ask.
He had first mover advantage. I mean, there was X Entertainment and there was Sean Baby and a couple other people, but he was like really the first one to make video content.
Yeah,
like this.
And I think that's kind of where we're at. Is now we've got about a dozen of the Angry Video Game Nerds. They're not all characters. I thought about this earlier today. I was thinking about like 80s and 90s actors, performers, comedians that would kind of get pigeonholed as the characters they created and kind of be doomed by their own creations. Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, Jim Varney, Ernest P. Worrell, James Rolfe, Angry Video Game Nerd. I mean, there's really an interesting parallel. It's like he's been overshadowed by a character he created, which is kind of the worst parts of himself. He's kind of now trapped, I guess, in a way, in this, because he's going to continue doing this because it's a reliable revenue stream. That's obvious, but it's also all he knows how to do, and he's just going to keep doing it.
Doing it for 20. I mean, he's got a Mark Zuckerberg hairline now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his hairline wasn't all that great to begin with.
Sure,
but, yeah,
but man, the hair that he has on the top of his head is working really hard.
It's hanging on. Yeah,
it's hanging on really hard. I hope.
Take it from a guy who knows it don't get better than that.
It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
I say as I rub my scalp.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, you ready for something gross?
Yes, sir.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
So this one isn't necessarily all that gross in comparison to things we've covered in the past, but it's shock.jpg time, and every time I bring you a shock.jpg, I gotta try to keep it spicy, try to keep it new. I saw this one on TikTok.
Whew. If it's on TikTok, it's got to be a very weird kind of PG-13.
It started when I noticed the phrase keep getting batted around, Skittles on deck. And you know, if you're on TikTok, under a video that mentions something, it'll say search for, and then a phrase from the video or from the description. So I said, okay, let's see where this goes. Skittles on deck eventually took me to this video. Now, I'm sure this is actually a re-upload from someone else. It is a slideshow set to a Drake song, so let's start there.
Oh, already.
The person who posted this is a Power Down 212 random guy, so it's probably just some content farmer. But the original is in the video, but I really can't read it. It ends with 69, so I'm just assuming it's another random account that re-uploaded it. But again, it's a slideshow. It's very brief, but it's also very weird. Check this out.
Oh, I know what I'm looking at now. It took me a second.
Yeah, so the first image in the slideshow is Skittles, a bag of Skittles. The second image in the slideshow is an eggplant, not the emoji, but the actual eggplant. And then the third image is someone who is using his foreskin to store Skittles. Skittles on deck, Brian, because they can't say dick on TikTok. Just like we like to use segs and unalived. My favorite is $bean instead of lesbian.
Porn, it's corn.
Corn, yeah.
Or spicy page. Yeah, I've seen all that stuff.
But yes, this is someone with Skittles in their foreskin, and looks like they jammed quite a few in there.
Man, you think they still taste good?
Probably. Most of them are in the center, so I mean, you know, only a few touch the side.
I'm not ant-eared up, so I can't. I'm actually a little jealous.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
You're hiding snacks in your
hiding snacks. I'd take a pizza crust out.
You go to the movies and you got popcorn, jamming popcorn.
Brian, are you telling me you put White Castles in your foreskin again? God damn, man, the theater's gonna smell. Everyone's gonna know what we're doing. I haven't stuck food into a movie for a long time. But I think the next time I do it, it's gonna be a low stakes situation. I'm not gonna be like,
oh yeah, Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like the next Ari Aster movie.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be
like Fly Me to the Moon or something.
Fly Me to the matinee over at Ronnie's or some shit.
But yeah, just he's sitting there with a laptop on his lap, his junk out.
The issue here that I have is that whatever he's doing, he's got to keep one hand on his deal.
Right. Otherwise, those Skittles are just going to the ground.
Unless he's done something like use like Elmer's glue to keep it rigid.
Oh boy. Yeah, you're in trouble.
Some toothpicks. Put a last work in there.
You got the tongue depressors on either side with a rubber band.
I know you're going to say rubber band. Jesus.
I took arts and crafts.
God, these skills taste like shit.
Right. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean.
Smegma?
No, that's
cottage cheese.
Yeah,
from church.
Yeah,
I got these skills from church.
It's so weird. It's so bizarre.
I know it's worse implying like the deny that the skills you were holding them in your foreskin by also, but they're like, no, I'm going to deflect by saying I got molested for them.
Yeah. I don't know.
Either way, it's not a good look
Not
for you.
Good. Not good. I feel like sugar in that area is just like
seems bad.
Very bad. Yeah, it's.
You're not supposed to do that.
No, generally I would think that's not a thing you should do, but
it's not a beloved move.
I would imagine not. It's weirdly hypnotic. It almost has that same effect of like those old photoshops of like seed pods on a woman's boob. It's unnerving.
Oh.
It's unnerving is what I'm saying. It's unnerving. But yeah, that's our shocked out JPEG. Found it on TikTok, Brian. Well, definitely got to get the taste of those Skittles out of my mouth. It's time for the breath mint.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the breath mint.
The first thing I want to talk about is a compilation of games for the Switch. Danganronpa. Are you familiar with Danganronpa?
I'm used to it being pronounced as Danganronpa.
I don't know how it actually is pronounced, so I'm just kind of over-exaggerating it, but I've always called it Dungeon Grandpa. Because there's a song in the opening of the first game where a robotic voice goes, Danganronpa, and it sounds like Dungeon Grandpa. So I've been calling them Dungeon Grandpa for years, so I don't know how it's actually pronounced, but Danganronpa 2 in particular, because I played the first one on PC. I got this collection for the Switch. It's 4 games. So for those of you who are not familiar, it is a remnant of the point-and-click adventure game style where you're going around looking for clues, trying to solve a murder mystery. This insanely convoluted plot. Every single game is just very, very complicated, really stupid anime plots, but they're endlessly entertaining. All the character art's great. It's always fun to do. But the main thrust of the game is that 6 or 7 times throughout the main game, there's a class trial. And you have to present evidence that you've gathered through the game to make your case. Danganronpa 2 kind of blew up the whole idea because it has a very Metal Gear Solid 2 type ending, if you know what I mean. And for those of you who do, you do. If you don't, well, play Metal Gear Solid 2. But it's still entertaining. It's still kind of fun to look at. There's some really great bits of humor. But it's also very, very much an anime game.
Sure.
It's very talky. It's very, very talky. It's more visual. There's more visual novel stuff than there is actual gameplay. That's my main complaint with the first game. It's the same complaint I have the second one. Gameplay kind of takes a back seat to story, which is fine if you want a twisty murder mystery. It's kind of weird, which is exactly what I was in the mood for, and that's what I got. So Danganronpa Decade is the name of the collection because it is 10 years worth of games. Just started V3, which is different from 3. Rather than have the third game be a direct sequel to the first 2, they'd have it be its own thing.
Sure.
So that 3 could stand alone as an anime movie. It's an entertaining ride. It's very well written, very funny. Yeah, it's got that weird combination of like really gross horror, really off-the-wall, wacky comedy, but you're also getting invested in the characters. So the tone shifts are real all over the place.
Sure.
You can kind of see the manga influence in the way that it's very episodic. But after a while, you kind of get on the game's wavelength. You get into the groove after a while. So I really, really had a good time with it. The other thing I got is I went to Chicago.
Man.
Took a little trip after the holiday and took a train.
Oh, man, that's the best way to do it.
It really is. fuck waiting at an airport. Just like get on the train.
It's like too short of a flight.
It really is.
I don't even think it's an hour.
And you got to wait 2 hours at the airport to get on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
You had a great, quick little weekend. We were there at the same weekend that NASCAR was, so it kind of fucked up some of our public transit shit, but for the most part, it was great. We went and got Devil Dogs, which I had not, for some reason, had not gone to Devil Dogs before. Because it was either we're going to go to Wiener Circle or we're going to go to Devil Dogs. And Wiener Circle was super crowded because of NASCAR. And we said, okay, well, I guess we're going to Devil Dogs.
How was Devil Dogs?
Devil Dogs is fantastic. They have this one where it's a deep fried hot dog. And
I'm interested.
It's dope. I liked it quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, everybody got something interesting there. You get a bucket of fries, and it's like, it's like 6 inches tall and like 4 inches around. Nice big bucket of fries. So pretty good deal. Probably the best deal we had all weekend. It was the first night. So, and then the second day we walked around Millennium Park.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta go see the bean. I
saw the bean.
I saw the bean.
I saw the bean. Man, that thing is shiny.
Shiny as hell.
You think... How many migrants do you think it takes to wax that thing down and get it all good and pretty?
I don't know, but it was...
They ought to have some good old American boys doing that, but they don't do that because of crooked Democrats.
Damn Joe Biden.
Bidenomics.
Yeah.
The bean has lost its luster.
Going there was interesting because there's a lot more food stalls than I remember being around there. And it just apparently reopened in the past year or so after they did a bunch of renovations to it. And they did shine it up because it does look much nicer than it ever did. And then we went to...
would you jack off onto the bean?
No. I would not disrespect Cloudgate like that.
I think the bean's stupid. I would disrespect it. I would do a come distribute.
I saw a bit on Twitter where the official Empire State Building Twitter was trying to start beef with the bean. It was like reasons to visit the bean, and then it was blank. And I'm like, well, first of all, fuck you. Okay, I don't even live there, and freestanding sculpture is gonna beat gigantic skyscraper any day. Sorry. And also, you're New York. What the fuck do you care about Chicago?
Yeah, shouldn't you be like telling us about how great your bodegas are?
They're called bodegas.
You ever had a chopped cheese, motherfucker? No, I don't ever need to have a chopped cheese. I got pork steak.
I don't really want to get into it with the New York people on this show, but number one city in the world, right? Only one. Only city.
There's no one like St. Louis.
No one likes St. Louis. But anyways, we went to Hancock Tower. Went up to the 94th floor. It's fucking amazing. There's this bit they have now. I never went on it when I was younger. It's called Tilt. You heard this? You hold on to these bars, and it tilts out 94 stories up, and you're at like a 45-degree angle, suspended above the city. For someone with a fucking thing about heights, that was really weird to me. Everyone else was like, oh, that was really short. I'm like, that felt like fucking forever. I'm about to die over here. What do you mean? But that was interesting, at least. It was kind of fun to
different.
Look at. Yeah, definitely. And we did Navy Pier because, that's what you do.
You go get fleeced over a bubblegum shrimp?
Hell no.
You're a smarter person than my mom.
One of the cool things about Navy Pier, though, is that some of the nights they have local bands playing. And so we watched this guy, and his name escapes me now, but it was a hell of a show because it was just like two guys and a drum machine, and I'm like, okay, Echo and the Bunnymen, I got it. And the music wasn't beating those allegations. But there's nothing wrong with that. I like Echo and the Bunnymen, so, But yeah, it's a fun city, man. And 3 days, I think, is perfect. If you go for any longer, I think you start to really burn out.
Chicago can get really exhausting really quick.
It can, especially when you walk as much as we did. Those Miamis are still hurting. So, about you, big dog, what you been up to?
Tons of live music.
I heard you. I heard you went to, what was it, Jeezy?
Yeah, that was interesting. It was cool, but I knew I was in for something special because I'm walking in and I'm walking down the ramp to the dance floor, and I'm just trying to make sure there's like an actual photo pit for this. And this older black lady, dressed to the fucking nines, walks up to me, looking like she's a pit boss at a really cool casino.
Hell yeah. Let's
and
go.
she's like, excuse me, baby, can you do a hookah here? And I'm like, excuse me? She's like, can you smoke hookah here? And I'm like, I wish you could. Right. Well, I believe this is a non-smoking establishment. And she's like, oh.
You're like, okay, all right, here we go.
Oh, and like now that I realize that maybe she was asking me if there was like a hookah like in the area. I think all the hookah bars have. So there's probably one.
There's probably one, if not, because it's next to the weed shop, right?
It might be a part of the weed shop.
Maybe.
Because it used to be that one by one of the Thai places. The hookah's still a thing because St. Louis doesn't give up on fads like other weak-willed cities like Chicago or New York.
Well, I know that in like the Vine and stuff, you can still get that. But
people have asked me there, like, can you like vape? And I'm like, no. But you gotta understand, this is a Jeezy show, so the weed smoke was thick. I had to leave. It was so overwhelming. Oh, no. It was a really good show, man. Like, there's really nothing like a Jeezy show. Like, it's pretty fucking tight. He's super fun. I mean, come on, man. R.I.P. just killed the club. Like,
no, I know, yeah.
You know, the dude's first release was called Trap or Die. So it's like, it's already, you're already starting on third base.
Yeah.
But I've seen him a few times, and he's always super fun. His new record, kind of like a chip on his shoulder. Apparently, dudes in the game are saying like he ain't it anymore. He ain't the dude, and it's like, man, that's fucking Jeezy.
I was gonna say
Jeezy doesn't need to be the dude to anyone but Jeezy.
Well, that and like, you know,
the guy has also like had a 20-year career with a lot of cool shit. Like, his personal life's been a little messy, but like, dude seems to find a way to come out on the other side with his chin up. So like, I don't really have anything. I'd give that dude a drive to the airport. Like, you know?
Well, yeah, no shit. One thing, like, people talking about like Snoop Dogg and shit. It's like, he's fucking Snoop. Just leave him alone.
But
like, what do you mean?
But there was like one point I'm sitting there. This is like the opening DJ. I was two local guys, DJ Marley and DJ Bounce. They were fun, but
well, didn't DJ Bounce do the?
He was
Sexy
at Sexy Red,
Okay,
yeah. I think Marley might have been there as well. Now that I think of it, but like, there was so many people that just randomly appeared at that show.
Right.
But I remember like looking at one point in the crowd and seeing like several people either like finishing up a blunt, like rolling it, like, you know, sealing it off with a lighter, or like about to spark it. And I'm wearing the N95 because I still mask up at shows.
Fucking A.
And like, after a while, like, I had a pretty good fit, but even after a while, I'm like, this is like obnoxious. Like, it's getting hard to breathe. You know, I got to shoot my 3 songs up front, but I could shoot the whole room. But the thing is, like, people are like in the aisles, like, people are doing stuff that normally, like, at like a rock show, security would get on people's asses about.
And they're getting away with it at this one.
I think the mentality was from security was maybe that like, well, you know, I can like say something to this person, but it might cause like a fucking chain reaction, or I can let this person dance in the aisle.
Yeah.
Fire codes be damned. Like, you know, like, do I want to like turn this into a shit show or just let it go? It ain't really hurting anyone.
Right.
People drinking, but not getting like too swervy. Like, it was a really good vibe. And Jeezy, again, really great live show for just a dude on a stage by himself with a DJ. Like, he really keeps your attention. He's surprisingly funny and witty and just like knows how to fucking talk, man. Like, some people in between songs don't really know how to like keep the momentum going, but this guy, like, he has a rhythm.
It's always good to see somebody with good banter between songs.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then the night before that, I was supposed to photograph X on their farewell tour.
Oh, man.
At Del Mar Hall.
Now, how many farewell tours is that for them, though? You know,
I think this is it.
Really?
They're looking rough. I mean, they were like in their late 20s in 77.
Right.
You know, so when they first started. But unfortunately, my girlfriend had an emergency. I mean, it was fine. She locked herself out of the house.
Whew, I thought it was it was a medical emergency.
No,
with the surgery
it
and all that.
It was. It's the kind of emergency you sigh really heavy about.
But then you go and take care of it because that's what you do.
Yeah. So I got there and I saw like the last like 3 or 4 songs. It's all a bunch of old drunk people, which is the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really get any good photos. I could shoot the room, but the thing was there was no photo pit. I'm bummed at the situation. I'm not like mad at my girlfriend, but
no,
that just sucked.
Right.
We all probably have met or known or worked with one person, me and you, Jason, that like bragged about how they got high with John Doe once or something.
Sure.
I worked with a guy when I was 18 at Guitar Center that like implored that he was cool because he got high with Exnine or whatever her name is,
Cervenka,
and John Doe one time, and like he done it many times. And I'm like, cool. I don't know who X are because I'm 18. All the punk rock I know comes from books.
Fair enough.
But the 20 or so minutes I got to see were cool. Like her voice still sounds great. Like the guitar player, I forget his name, but he's like sitting in a chair, just like riffing, doing like his mutant Chuck Berry riffs on like a Gretsch hollow body. Like it was. I wish the problem to me, I think was most upsetting was that have you ever shown up to a show late and you realize you missed the climax?
Yeah.
Like this is the bad part of the show. 2 songs before they probably played L.A.
Probably.
And that was like the peak of the evening, and now it's just we're filling time. Most of the songs they played I knew, and even a few of them I really liked, but it's just like, again, the energy was like, this is already peaked. And
yeah, you've come in at the end of the movie.
You already seen like the one nude scene of the solid 3 out of 5 star film.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, I was asked to photograph for the pageant Iron Wine.
Oh.
Which was
a very different vibe.
Very, very different vibe. And I can't say I've ever been a fan.
Yeah, me neither. My wife likes them.
When I was young, Iron Wine was for like the real wimpy kids. That was like you turned in your white belt for some girl pants.
Yeah, well, a lot of the people that I know that like Iron and Wine now are
alcoholics.
No, I was gonna say boring suburban parents.
Yeah,
people who liked Dave Matthews in college. You know, like those guys.
See that. There was definitely some of those kind of folks at this show, but I gotta really say the newest record is really pretty. The presentation on this tour is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. They employed this outfit out of Chicago. I forget the name off the top of my head, but they do shadow puppets.
Okay.
And so there was these very elaborate, very well done like shadow puppet scenes behind about half the songs. There's these two or three ladies, like old like high school projectors, like very, again, something that sounds really cheesy and lame, but one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I was actually talking with on Instagram the house photographer for the Salt Shed up in Chicago, because he photographed it because they played there, and he's like, this is like the coolest thing I've seen all year. And I was like DMing him, and I'm like, yeah, this was I was not expecting this to be half as cool as it actually was. Sounded great, and there was these really cool lights on stage. It looked like they came from like old boats and shit, and just a really amazing mood. I can't really stress that even if you're not a fan of that type of music, if you can and go see them and it's not a financial burden, I would go do it, because I don't think you're really going to see anything like that for some time.
Sounds very intimate.
Yeah, it was crazy. I wish I'd stayed a little bit longer than I had, but what I got to see was pretty amazing. Photos were a little rough. Didn't get to shoot in the photo pit. Just the experience, the witness that sort of musicianship and presentation, just like the vibes were just immaculate.
You'll love to hear it.
Yeah, and the opener was this lady from somewhere in Tennessee named Amethyst Kia.
Okay.
She typically performs like a small band, but this was just her doing like a singer-songwriter thing. Probably had like the fanciest Martin guitar I've ever seen anyone. She was playing a Martin guitar that's like the sort of thing that they only make for like the NAMM show, like just lots of like abalone and stuff. Excessively beautiful guitar to be played. Like this is a guitar that's supposed to be like,
it's a display piece.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a one of one. The master luthier, did all of this in setting and all that, and well, actually, this abalone came from the Titanic. Like some weird shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, and the wood came from the First Baptist Church of Wyoming. They were knocking it down to put in like Starbucks or something, Five Below. But she had this really beautiful voice. Really enjoyed her set. But the lead single that Iron Wife,
yes.
Whoa. It reminds me of a joke my grandfather used to tell me. Why are wedding dresses white?
I don't know.
The dishwasher has to match the stove in the fridge.
Hey-oh.
Yeah, he picked. He had jokes.
So the lead single.
The lead single is actually a duet with Fiona Apple.
Oh.
And when they performed that song, they brought her out to do Fiona Apple's part. And I want to say she probably sung it better than Fiona Apple did on the record.
Mm-hmm.
Which, truth be told, probably isn't that hard. It's like...
No, but there's a vibe.
Like, I've watched people cover PJ Harvey and sing it better than PJ Harvey. It's not necessarily the point of the race.
Yeah.
But that was really nice. It was a great little show. Like I said, if you can catch that tour, I would highly suggest going. There's really not much like it that I've ever seen. And I've been photographing live music for 15 years. Trying to think what I have coming up. I have Fish.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? I have an opportunity. Like, the production company that's doing their lighting is local, and they do good work. And this is the same production company that did the shit for the the Las Vegas Orb or whatever.
Oh,
Sphere,
okay. Yeah.
That caused
the Drew Carey to want to
lose his shit. That's like getting fucked with a pussy. Or coming with a pussy.
Yeah. I got to see that show, man.
Yeah, man. I'll have what he's having.
Yeah. Did you come or what?
Fish, Orville Peck.
Oh.
Might be photographing Self Cult again. I don't know. That's the same day I start my new job. So I don't know if I really want to. I mean, all these shows are the first week of my new job, but at the same time, like...
First day. Got to be good on the first day.
Got to be good on the first day.
Yeah.
Got to be good at least on the second day. But, like, I can't pass up Orville Peck.
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Which I specifically requested so my girlfriend could go because she's a big Orville Peck fan. But Orville Peck's latest release is like a bunch of duets. Like, it's bad.
Oh,
It's
no.
kind of objectively bad.
Oh, no.
He covers Elton John's Saturday with Elton John.
Oh, no.
It's like Saturday Night Live.
Oh, no.
Joke level of bad. But like the real record, like it's like volume 1.
Oh,
and the
no.
real record comes out like the first week of August, and I'm sure that's fine. But this is like a misstep.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to, like, his voice can't really keep up with something like Saturday or some of the other stuff that's on there.
Yeah.
I tried listening to it, and I'm like, this is, like, his other stuff's fine. I like it. Well, my girlfriend's kind of like, I don't know if I want to go to this show because it's so bad. This is so bad. I'm like,
no.
And he's like, well, hopefully the new record's actually good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just me talking a bunch of shit. That's the end of the breath mint.
All right. Well, let's tell the good people out there in the internet land where to find you online, Brian.
Oh, you want to check me out on the old internet there? You can find me at iShotGuidBoard on the old Twitter, ISHOTGUIDBORD. You can catch me on Instagram there at A Music Photographer. If you want to check out my photography portfolio, it's assholemusicphotographer.com. You want to check out some photos and words there. It's asshole.
Nope.
A music photographer. Gosh, I'm just really getting turned off these near beers here. And if you want to check out the last and only good music media website in St. Louis, you got to go over and check out theartsstl.com. They got some beautiful stuff over there. Laura Jurl, she actually got some good photos of X, so go check that out. Eat Me in St. Louis did another little thing if you want to learn about the food scene in St. Louis, which is like one of the 3 things that's worthwhile about living here.
Balling out of control.
Balling out of control, folks. If you want to live in a place that seems as uneasy as Baltimore or Philadelphia, the rent's half as much, and it's more humid, and the baseball teams are worse. Anytime the Cardinals are so bad that it makes you wonder, like, how's hockey looking this year? What are the Blues doing? They got anyone worth looking at?
Yeah, that's always a bad sign. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter there and various other places as Videocrime, VIDEOCRIME. If there's a video crime, chances are it's me, with the notable exceptions of TikTok and Instagram. There I am, Laser Goose CEO. That's laser with an S, because I know how to spell it. In reference to the show, oh boy, there's a myriad of ways you can reach us, but my favorite one is always the phone. Yes, we have a phone number.
Pick up the phone. Give us a call.
314-246-9766. That's 314-AHOY POO if you like to spell with your telephone. You can also shoot us an email, jason@48minutesofdogsbarking.com or Brian with a Y at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com. Support the show, patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. And there you can find our weekly post-show hangout called Thanks I Hate It. And if we get 10 subscribers at the $10 level, oh baby, baby, a 90-minute commentary track for the Japanese puke fetish video, Garo Monster Home Delivery. Now, here's my thing. That offer is only going to go to the end of the year. I'm putting a time limit on that because I'm moving on. But, yeah, you can also find me as part of a podcast called Submitted for the Approval of the Midnight Pals, where I play a fictionalized version of Stephen King. Season 2 on the way. It'll be there right around Halloween. That about does it for the program. As we always say at this time, namaste, good luck, eat the knife, give mommy a good gut fucking, 25th Amendment now.
Yeah, eat the knife.